Welcome to Behind the Dreamers podcast with your host, Jennifer Loading.
And Brianna Dorellis.
Where extraordinary decisions produce extraordinary results.
As we talk to the achievers, the creators, magic makers, and the dreamers.
These are our friends, these are your friends, and they are living the extraordinary. Today's episode is brought to you by Walt Mills, photographer of Glad Models Agency. If you are here in the Dallas or surrounding area, check out Walt Mills. You can learn more about him and his work at photosbywalt.com. All right, we are super excited. This is our very first episode of the year. Yes.
I know, I'm excited.
And
we're in a new studio.
New studio.
We have an amazing guest in studio with
new
us.
name, new logo, everything. Like, we're kicking it off. And so we want to introduce our guest, first guest of the year. Seneca KMIR Alma is the founder of the KMIR Experience. Seneca has spent most of his adult life in federal and state prison. Through his years of existing in such a closed-minded environment, he had the unique opportunity to open his own. KMIR Keep in Remembrance is more than a company and nonprofit. The KMIR Experience is a culture and way of life. Many of the concepts woven throughout KMIR were birthed from Mr. Alma's many years of incarceration. His workshops, products, fitness camps, and lectures help impact the lives of those who have gotten off track in life. Seneca KMIR Alma is also an award-winning playwright, spiritual facilitator at the Dallas Meditation Center in Richardson, a dad to his son Elijah, and a fitness, yoga, meditation trainer at Good Work. Is this co-working space?
Yes, good co-working.
Yeah, near downtown. So welcome to the show, Seneca.
Thank you for having me.
I didn't even know you had a son. I learned something new today.
There you go.
I love it. How old is your son, by the way?
My son just turned 12.
Oh my goodness.
Ooh.
Yeah, he just
So not so
turned
little.
12. Not so little.
Still have some control, but not so little,
Yeah,
right?
he's about to be a teenager. It's crazy.
That's awesome. Well, welcome. We're so glad that you're here today. And
Yes.
I am super excited. Like I said, this is our first show. We're super thrilled to have you here today and talk about what you are doing and all that good stuff. So I want to kick this off, I think, really quick. Just tell us a little bit about who Seneca is. What is this that you are doing and who are you serving?
Yes, well, thank you for having me. Thank you. Again, my name is Seneca KMIR Alma. The question, who am I and who do I serve? Yes, my name is Seneca. Seneca was a name given to me. KMIR Alma is a name that I adopted just kind of later on in life. It means Seneca, KMIR, keep me in remembrance, and Alma is another word for spirit. So just keeping me in remembrance that I'm spirit, is essentially what that means. I began my path in federal prison at the age of 19. I first got into meditation. Someone came in and started doing meditation. And I was always been interested in like Eastern philosophy. So this guy came and I started doing yoga, and just naturally, without knowing it back then, I'm kind of a teacher, just kind of innately. So I just started doing like yoga sessions out on the rec yard, found out I had a knack for it, I had a gift for it. But most importantly, it was therapeutic for myself. So it just got me through a lot and fell in love with the whole lifestyle and culture. And that's how I got on the path of spirituality.
So awesome. And I don't know if I shared this with Brianna, but Seneca and I met at an event that I was invited to come in and speak, and that was, I think, early October. And so I was so impressed with him because of just his whole, just the way he was carrying himself, and he was talking about meditation, which is something that, I think I shared with you that when I was going through a health stint in 2012, I had taken up transcendental meditation. And so that's been a very big part of my life, is the whole meditation. And even to this day, I don't do it every day, but I still do it a lot of times. So I think that is so awesome that you have the opportunity to carry that over. And you're also a fitness trainer, so you do some of that as well.
Yeah,
correct?
I have like so much information and stories.
Do.
It's just really breaking it, into bits and pieces. So I've been to federal prison and state prison, right? And I did 3 years in federal prison and 9 years in state prison. 2 different times, actually. I actually went to federal prison, went to prison, came home. And just like the stories, I was working in a warehouse, and I'm getting to the fitness here.
Hey,
here
it's
in
all
a sec.
good.
But I was just working in a warehouse, and a friend of mine pulled up in this brand new Mercedes Benz, right? And I was like, man, like, where'd you get that from? And he was like, I've been out here hustling. So slowly but surely, I quit my job and I started back into a life of crime and ended up, organized crime, theft. That was my thing. That was the thing that was taught to me, I guess, at an early age. I tell people it was, some people go to college, some people go to trade school, and my thing, I was kind of like groomed in this profession. My choice. I'm not a victim. I made those choices. I need to be accountable for those choices. But that was my life, and this second time I began a life of crime again and got into more trouble. I was indicted as a ringleader and given 25 years in state prison. And it was in this time where I was like, hey, I need to do something different. I can't continue to exchange the years of my life, and trying to make it illegally. And when I went to prison, I had already started to change my mindset. And I got into fitness. I was doing boot camps and I was doing workshops. And I found when I was trying to talk to younger guys, they really were not open. Not all of them. Like in anything else, you have this pool of people. Majority of the people are in between are followers, right? And then you have a minority of people who are just knuckleheads who are going to get into trouble, and that's just is what it is. Then you have another minority of people who want to do something positive. And there was this majority middle that could go either way. And I would find myself trying to talk to these young guys, and some of them were trying to hear me. Some of them were trying to hear what I had to say, and some were not. But fitness was an avenue that I could really get to some of these individuals. So I started doing boot camps. And I would have 10, 20 dudes out on the rec yard doing these cadences and these boot camps, and it was personal development. And that's when I realized that I could use personal development. I could use fitness as a personal development tool. Because the ego is broken down, the inhibitions are broken down, and I was dealing with a completely different person when we were tired and working out, and then I could speak life into them. They were more open to it. So I have this bucket list of things I wanted to do whenever I came home, and one of them was continue to do the boot camp. So I've been blessed with the opportunity to have a contract at Good Co-working where I do fitness. And my nonprofit is going to be working with younger people, coming up this year, and still using fitness as a tool to get to people,
So cool. I think it's also interesting how you were able. Now, I don't know a whole lot of people who have spent a ton of time in state and federal prison as you have. However, I would think that a lot of someone who has had that experience might want to actually hide it or cover it up because they don't want others to judge them for whatever their previous transgressions or whatnot have been, right? For you, however, you have completely took an opportunity to actually shine a light on it, not deny it, show people that this is actually how I became who I am through these experiences, and then put it into something really positive and reach people who need it most, really. I don't know. I really admire that. I really admire the fact that you are able to take your full story, and because I think that's really what it's all about. It's not, you're bringing your full story to the front, and everything that you do moving forward is still in alignment with where you've been and where it's brought you, and then now you can move forward. It's great.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And one thing for me is I've always, even in my life of crime, I was always big on honesty and transparency. I don't know what that sounds like to you, but people that knew me, I mean,
right.
You mean what you say what you mean what you say, you do what you say you're going to do, right? And that's always been instilled in me. I was just kind of geared into I adapted to the wrong direction. I tell people if someone would have came to me when I was 16 years old and was a real estate mogul or very educated in financial literacy or trading stocks, I believe I would have adapted to that just as easily as the life of crime. That was just the path that I chose. But as it relates to what you're speaking about, it's truly not success, right? If you're not able to show up fully. Right. I mean, because I've had money before, but was also unfulfilled inside. So it's well, what's the use of going out there and chasing money again and still being unfulfilled inside? So I know one way to do that is full transparency. And being incarcerated for so many years, the only thing that I truly wanted is freedom. And you're not free if you're not showing up and being completely honest about who you are. It's a prison within a prison.
Sure.
So yeah, there's definitely layers to it, but how I came even to the point was I was at home. I got a call from someone, and they had access to that type of information, and they said that basically the Secret Service was coming to my home. And I dropped everything. I hit my safe. I jumped in my car, and it happened just like the movies. Like I'm driving down 35, and it starts raining like out of nowhere, right? And I'm driving. I'm calling people that I know. I'm like, hey, like something's happened. I'm breaking my phones. I'm throwing them out of the window. I'm just like, hey, like you guys need to either get out of town. Like, you know, they're basically coming for us. I called my mom, and I told her, I was like, hey, like, you know, something's happened. And this was when it first began, because her voice, when she asked me this question, I felt it in a way that I had never felt it before. And she asked me, she said, what is it now, Seneca? And when she said it, it was like if we were watching a movie and you could see like somebody's spirit like come out of their mouth, like that's what it felt like. And it weighed on me in a way that had never done before. I was 19 when I went to prison before. You know, this time I was just like 23, but you know, I had a girlfriend, she had a daughter, I had more responsibility. I was coming more into a manhood state, doing more things. And I went home, I dropped off some money, went through that whole thing, and I went on a run to Austin. And when I was in Austin, I was just really evaluating myself. I had been drinking. I get out the shower, and I'm looking in the mirror at my reflection. And I started to mumble these negative, incoherent things to myself about how I had messed up my life. Because I knew that this time was like different. Like we stole a lot of money. It was a very high profile case in Dallas. And I know a lot of people are going to be going to jail, unfortunately. And I'm sitting here looking in the mirror, and I just pass out completely, right? And I hit the back of my head on the floor, and I get up, and I'm bleeding, and I'm looking at my reflection. And no matter how much money I had made, no matter how many cars had been acquired, the reality of the situation was that this was the reality of my situation in my life. And that's when I really just started to just, you know, self-evaluate. And I go to the bedroom. I was in a hideaway house, right? Nobody knew where I was but my mom. And I go to my to the bedroom, and I get the trash bag full of money, and I'm counting it, because the money is the thing that used to bring me peace. I didn't really know that I was addicted to money. Like, it gave me a sense of identity. And for the first time in my life, I'm counting this money, and it felt like green pieces of paper. You know, it didn't feel like, it felt like Monopoly money. And I had never felt that before, and it scared me to death. It was like a bad mushroom trip or something, right? And I was just like, what's going on, man? And finally, I just kind of came to myself, and they had arrested my girlfriend at the time. And she had never been in trouble before in her life, and she was arrested. Of course, I bonded her out of jail. But I had an opportunity to further go on the run, like really, really disappear. And when I was faced with this opportunity, I asked myself, was I capable of doing this? And the answer to that question was, I was, you know, I mean, I truly was. But it was that answer to that question that really caused me to say, I don't want to be this person anymore, you know, because now it's like, okay, you're about to go on the run. You're going to leave her behind. In full transparency, I knew people that was actually willing to go do something to the person that testified against me. So now I'm just like, you know, I'm like, okay, do you really want to possibly either have this girl killed or hurt, leave your girlfriend behind, go further on the run? And just sitting with that, I'm like, dude, like that's not what you want,
Right.
you know? So that was my crossroad. And I remember I called a lawyer, and he told me to turn myself in, which was huge. And I'm driving down 35, headed back to Dallas from Austin. I'm driving through Waco. And I started doing shows in Dallas, like poetry shows, because I wanted to transition my illegal money into something legal. That was the correct way to do things, right? You know, and I had rented out the Hall Estate at the Fair Park, and I had a show that was coming. It was my biggest show to that day. It wasn't huge shows, but we were slowly building our way up. I had people coming in from out of town that was part of the show. And I'm going down 35, and I'm flipping through the radio stations, and I hear my commercial for my show that I have coming up in a couple weeks. I completely forgot about it. And I was like, damn, you know. I pulled over and I sat on the hood of my car at like 2:00 in the morning. And I said, I don't know what I want to do. I don't know how I want to do it, but I know I need to do something different. So when you say, you know, like me showing up now, like there's a backstory behind why I'm being transparent, right? And I hopped in my car, I go to Dallas, and back then it was the Yellow Pages, right? I mean, it was Yellow Pages. And I called every like prison group that I could find, didn't have a clue of what I was doing. And one lady called me back at the Dallas Urban League, Rochelle Alexander, and gave me an opportunity to start speaking. And it was like 30 guys getting out of prison. And I was out on bond for 2 years, fighting my case before I went to prison. And I just started speaking. I started doing different things. I wrote a play, and I seen a whole nother side of life. And even though I still had to go to prison, I went into prison with 2 years of experience of doing stuff different in a whole new mindset.
Wow.
And I tell people, like, that was the best thing. It was the worst thing and the best thing that ever could have happened to me, because I went into prison with a made up mind already that I was going to make that place my college, my temple, and everything. And I just did that every day and have continued to do that since I've been home.
Wow.
Thank you for sharing all that.
What a story. Wow. Thanks for sharing. Absolutely. It's incredible.
And while you were there kind of bringing this teaching on, you know, you said in the yard or whatnot, whether it was physical training or meditation or whatnot, did you sense or feel pushback? Because I know you mentioned you had, you know, the people who wanted to listen, the people in the middle, and then, you know, people who really didn't want to, but you still showed up every single day consistently to do what you were there to do ultimately, right?
Yeah.
Almost like living into your purpose at that place in your life. Did you get resistance from other people? Like, who is this guy? Like, what's he trying to do? Like,
yeah, I mean, you know, that happens. The thing about prison, like, there are, I'm not going to say a lot of guys like me, but there are a few. I mean, there are dudes who either they've been in prison for like 10, 20 years and they found religion, or they're doing this and they're doing positive stuff. It's not the majority, but we are sprinkled in there. And if you are, you know, generally, if you're a stand-up person, right, and people can see like it's authentic and you're truly there to help, you know, most of the time you're not going to really have too much trouble. Now, you still will have people that don't like you for whatever particular reason. In situations like that, you know, I never had any major issues. There were times where you can tell people really don't like you, don't really like what you're doing. In addition to that, there always, in my experience, has been a mutual respect. Like, I won't get into your world, and then you're not going to get into my world. I'm going to let you, you know, not let you do your thing, but, you know, just, there's just a respect thing if you show up a certain type of way, you know. But yeah, man, it's I mean, I could talk probably for days about prison stories.
And I think we could ask you a lot of questions. I think it's remarkable that you made this shift going back into, I think that's the thing that I admire about your entire story, because I think that when you come from a situation where that's been kind of ingrained in you, you know, you've made the comment about if you went into real estate, you would have been able to navigate that, right? But you weren't. You were ideally shown something else, and that's what you grasped onto. And a lot of times I feel like that these patterns repeat over and over and over. And I think the thing that really sets this out is that you made that decision to say, no more. Like, no more. I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm going to be different. I'm going to live different. Which is the choices that we make, right? Ultimately, it boils down to the choices. And so I think this is a remarkable story. I love what you're doing. I think all of it is great. I want you to talk about your organization. Tell us what that is about, because I think, you know, I've gone through your site. I've looked at your stuff. Like I said, I love what you're doing. Share that with us.
Yeah, so we're babies, you know, we're just not getting started, but definitely grateful as far as where we are today. So I've created, you know, a program centered around the KMIR concept, and we have a nonprofit, we have an LLC, and the nonprofit, we have a contract with Cafe Momentum. Cafe Momentum is a restaurant here in Dallas that takes juvenile kids and teaches them restaurant skills. So thankfully we got that. Shout out to Cafe Momentum. Shout out to Saiz.
Absolutely.
For sure. I'm going to be working with those individuals at the first of the year. And basically that program is all encompassing. So we teach goal setting, but I don't use the terminology goal setting. I use promise keeping. I love words. I love to play around with words. I love to redefine words and kind of give power to them in different ways. So we talk about promise keeping over goal setting. So we go through that process. Then we have cohesive energy training, which is where I use the fitness and the yoga and the mindfulness to go into like journaling and reflective and so forth and so on. And then we shift to the importance of networking, because networking, I've been able to identify, is so important. I used to read all these magazines when I was locked up, Entrepreneur, Inc. magazine, and all these different business magazines.
Wow.
And, I was just like, man, like, what am I going to do when I go home? And the only thing that I consistently see in these magazines is network. So as soon as I came home, I just started going to networking meetings, right? And just started meeting people. So I know that networking is super important. So with these young participants in the KMIR program, we go into networking. I teach a networking class, and then bringing in entrepreneurs to teach workshops to just open up the minds and diversity. And then the last component is creating real world opportunity, actually connecting the clients with people in my network for intern, volunteer, or employment opportunities aligned with their interests, right? Like, I don't care what your interest is. Let's find out what that is, and let's try to connect you with a person or organization that can, just kick you out of the nest in a sense, so you can work through it on your own. Because in my opinion, it's like, if you have the passion and then you have the real world opportunity and just take the step, the rest is like in God's hands. Like, that's the best thing we can do for any human,
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the KMIR program, and that's what it consists of in like 2 minutes, 3 minutes.
Like 2 minutes, 3 minutes. There's more.
2 minutes, 3 minutes.
KMIR is like an evolved person. There's a lot there. I love it. There's like so much stuff there. And I was like, did you bring like something to show us?
Yeah,
Like, did you bring something to show? Because I'm intrigued by this.
This is just a prototype. So we're going to have a subscription box, and I actually had brought.
This is so awesome.
So this is for one of you. I only got one bar. So this is social media list. We had a campaign about social media list. So if you know anything about Fight Club, we got our own soap. It's social media list.
So great.
It's cool. You can have this one. This is
I'm going
KMIR soap.
social media list this week. So
She's doing it.
Oh
She's
yeah,
doing
that's cool. I actually, so I've been home for about 3.5 years now, right? And I spent a year and a half off of social media. I just got back on social media maybe 2-3 months ago.
I know. I saw.
Yeah, and I just pulled off because I didn't like social media. It was crazy.
Yeah.
It was too much. And I just took a lot of walks and, just kind of grounded myself and did a lot of journaling, a lot of internal work. And I said I was going to get back on when the business kind of caught more traction. So I just got back on. So social media list is something that we're going to be launching later on. But this is a subscription box, and we'll be giving this to our clients in like a pilot 4-month program. So each month there'll be a topic, and whatever the topic is, we have lotion, we have essential oil, we have soap, we have treats, we have chapstick. And we also have these experiences that they can actually do. So the idea is, let's say this one is finances, right? So you make a promise centered around finances, whatever it may be. And then you have a promise song. What is a song that helps keep you in remembrance of whatever your promise is in finance? And we created a Spotify account that you can load your song to. And then the second week is, how have you self-sabotaged yourself in this particular category? In this case, it would be finances. And this is for adults too, by the way. We need some support. And then we have tips and techniques. What are some tips and techniques you can give to the community about finances and that particular thing? So the idea is that this is like an experience that can be community-based and community-driven to help people maintain and keep their promises each month. And how I came up with the idea, me and my team, shout out to Sean and Sean. So we have 2 co-founders that are with me. There's a female Sean and a male Sean. Both of their names are spelled the same.
And you remember.
Yeah, so whenever we're in the meeting, the male Sean we call Swan. And the female Sean we still call the Sean, just so we know who we're talking to.
Yeah.
But what's crazy, so the male Sean was actually a friend of mine whenever I was incarcerated.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And we were talking about all these things we wanted to do, and we've maintained our friendship. So we've been friends for a while. The female Sean is somebody I used to actually train, right? And she was scared to death to start working out with me, but she lost like 30 pounds, and I'm always talking about personal development, and she just became like a sponge to it and worked her way in the company, basically.
Oh, wow. Well, good.
So, but check this out. Both of their birthdays are the same.
Oh my goodness.
And that is completely, I mean, one day I actually forgot the male Sean's birthday, and the female Sean was like, yeah, today's my birthday. And I reached out to the male Sean. I was like, hey, like, today's Sean's birthday. Like, do you want to do something? He's like, today's my birthday. I'm like,
my
what?
Goodness. Wow.
And so that's, I have no idea what that means, but this is what it is.
It's meant to be. Come here.
Yeah, so this right here is just based on the premise of being good to yourself, making small promises, and the more that you do that, essentially, your life will change. And as we talk about on our website, we want to make personal development not to be so heavy, right, and bogged down, something light and almost something kind of fun, and more so of a lifestyle.
Sure. And this is a very tangible reminder of the promise that you make that month. Mm-hmm. So even like the soap or the lotions, every time you put it on, like it's that almost that mental association of, okay, right. I've made this promise. It's like that daily reminder.
Yes.
That's really fascinating.
And what's cool about that is that we actually, with the box, engaged all five senses, right? You have the song, which engages sound. You have the smell, which is essential oil and the soap. You have sight, which is the color. You have taste, which is the treat. And touch, which can also be the soap as well. Sure. So we wanted to engage all five senses to help keep you in remembrance of your promise. And I have this thing called ABP, which is as a byproduct training, which essentially says it's not a thing to do, but it's a person to become as a byproduct of making these small goals. So it's truly just coming into full alignment in a way that's seamless, hopefully.
Mm-hmm. It's awesome. Brilliant. I love it. Well, and I think the thing too that I really, really like about what you're doing, Seneca, is that and we've talked about this off of obviously the show, is that you're bringing in all the different pieces that complete the puzzle. It's not just about doing meditation. Mm-hmm. It's not just about fitness. It's not just about one piece. It's this blend of all these things coming together. And it all really has to start with these decisions that you made to be different. And I like the reading I was listening to everything you were saying. You're reading the magazines, like the Inc. magazine and all. I'm like, wow. And yes, on the networking, 100%.
Yeah, super
if you do nothing in business, just network. Like you can't get anywhere without networking,
This is true. This is true.
So I love it. I love what you're doing. And I just love that it's all encompassing. And even like when you say the financial piece, because that's just important because I always say how you show up in one area is how you show up in all areas. Mm-hmm. And people don't really recognize that these little things that they're doing, they play out in different ways, with different like habits. We show up differently, but the underlying issue shows up in all those areas.
Correct.
So I love that you're piecing them all together. Good stuff.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Awesome. So I want to ask you a question. This is kind of a fun one. If you were to give your younger self some advice, what does that look like?
If I were to give my younger self some advice, what would that look like? Well, I'm very Star Wars in my thinking. Just my perspective on life. I like to believe is a little bit different. So actually, it's simple. I would tell my younger self that everything is perfect.
It's good.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. Strip it down.
Yeah, we can go down a rabbit hole about good and bad and right and wrong, and you have consequences and so forth, and all those things are very real. In addition to that, I do have faith in Source. I do have faith in God, and I truly do believe that there's not a grain of grass that's growing out of place, and I just truly believe that it's really about paying attention and listening. But everything is perfect. Like even, destruction, pain, sorrow, grief, it's all a part, in my opinion, of this balance, of this, I get on people for saying balance.
I don't like that word
We talk
either.
about it all the time.
Yeah.
It's really people look at the yin and yang, like I think I told you last time, as being balanced. But the yin and yang is in Sanskrit, or I'm sorry, not Sanskrit. The original, like in Taoism, it's harmony, and harmony and balance are two different things.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
Yeah. So when you surrender to that, I believe that everything is always perfect.
Yeah. We joke about the balancing. I think I just put a post up on social media that I hate that word. Nothing is in balance, because I think when we put our life, we put into our space the idea that things are going to be balanced, we set ourselves up for failure and for disappointment, right?
Yeah.
Because it just doesn't happen. There's always an ebb and flow. But I like that you said harmony, because I think harmony is we recognize that all things are in the place where they need to be at the right time. So whether that is despair, destruction, or whatever, I always feel like there's a reason those things come into play, because they teach you valuable lessons, either what not to do or what to do differently next time. And in your case, like you said, your story, Brianna touched upon it, but looking at your story and going, okay, well, I can make this a bad case and I can continue doing the same behavior, or I can use this story to propel me to move in a forward place and use it to help other people be better. And that's what I think is so remarkable about this whole thing. So love the word harmony.
Yeah. Harmony.
It's a realistic word.
Yeah, it's much
Yeah.
more realistic. Either you can raise your vibration or lower your vibration. If someone is singing, to harmonize with that person, you have to hear where they are and see how you best can
Support it.
Yeah, support that. And being a singer, you know that I'm not a singer, by the way, but she is a singer. So you come under, you go over, and it's more so of a yielding, like, to what's already there.
Yeah.
Ebb and flow, bob and weave.
All
that
you're
good
singing.
stuff.
All
All that
right.
good
stuff.
We're going to ask you one more fun question before I say fun. They're all fun, but before we get into rapid fire. So if you were going to give advice to somebody that is maybe wanting to start their own charitable foundation, or maybe they want to get into speaking or get into mentorship, personal training, I don't know, as an entrepreneur, let's take it from that angle. What kind of advice would you offer someone?
Don't get into the weeds of planning, strategizing, and writing. Do some of that, but then just get out there. Like get
Take
out
action.
there, get out there, take action, make mistakes. You're going to make mistakes, and those are going to be your greatest learning opportunities. But just get out there. And how you minimize the fear of getting out there is truly loving what you do, right? And just falling in love with the process. Because everybody, no matter how people show up at networking meetings or whatever that may be, everyone is insecure. Everyone's afraid. Everyone's kind of second guessing themselves. They may not say that, but they are. And I can say that with conviction, because I spoke with too many guys, like in prison, who tattooed and all of this, and then all of a sudden I'm talking to them one-on-one. And like all of this other stuff is coming out that you would normally not even think that this person was thinking. And it's like there's a human inside of that person, right? So that's across the board. So yeah, just get out there, man.
I think that's so true. I think everybody has had stuff.
Yeah.
When you dig deep enough, that vulnerability and break that wall, it definitely can come down. So I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
Get out there, do it. Just do
Absolutely.
it.
Just
Stop
do
thinking
it.
so much. That gets on that whole conversation about trusting your intuition. We've talked about that, because it's really just being okay with making a mistake and the failure. You just are going to do it and accept that and trust your gut. Go with it.
And then get around good people
Yeah, absolutely.
who can help you along the way.
That's right.
Good tips there. Thank you.
Yep.
Good stuff. Okay, so we have to do some fun questions.
Okay.
Yes.
These are short and sweet.
All right.
And
cool.
yeah, got to answer them quick.
I got to
Start
answer
there.
them quick.
Okay.
All right.
Brianna?
Okay, yeah, I would actually like to know, money doesn't even matter here. Where would you go vacation?
Where would I go vacation? Right now, I would say the pyramids. I really want to see the pyramids. Africa, like I'm there.
All right. So I know, because you're into health and wellness like I am and all that good stuff, but I want to know, what's your guilty pleasure?
As it relates to health and wellness, or just
Just any guilty, like food.
Oh,
Like something that you just really, is like, this is good.
I have many.
Pick the best one.
I have many. I don't know. I love bluebell ice cream and cheesecake.
Ooh, okay.
I like those two as well.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
what are you listening to in your car right now?
What am I listening to in my car right now? When I came, I wasn't listening to anything. Before that, I was actually listening to my own music. So I don't sing, but I'm actually like doing some like audio speaking with someone that is singing, and we're coming out with an album at the first of the year.
Oh, well,
That's
congratulations.
And it's going to
How
be
exciting.
It's going to be a spiritual EP that we're working on. So that's what I was listening to the last time I was listening to music.
Very cool.
That's awesome, Seneca. Okay, one last fun question. Okay, Amazon, because I'm in Amazon all the time. What's in your cart? You're shopping at Amazon. What'll be in your cart?
Like for the holidays or just period?
Whatever, anything. You decide, Seneca. Don't overthink it.
Okay, so Amazon cart, like what's in my cart? Man, I'm not a big shopper, dude. So
Look at you.
That doesn't surprise me.
I'm not a big shopper. Man, this is
Okay, how about the grocery cart?
well, I mean, I can do the Amazon
Okay.
cart. I can do the Amazon cart. Some AirPods because because my AirPods I actually shout out to Sean. She got me some AirPods. But this is the thing: my AirPods that I had, I washed them. Right, so
they were in your pocket?
they were in my
Oh,
pocket.
God.
So I had the earplugs with the cord, and I've been working out at the gym and just like getting tangled up all over the place. And so AirPods would probably be my thing, but somebody just got me some. So it's
Nice. Thank you,
Those-
Sean.
Yeah, those might be on my son's list because he's washed a few pairs too.
Yeah.
The dog has killed a pair. We've
Yeah.
washed a few. I mean, I'm like, you maybe just need to stop buying AirPods.
cool. Yeah, those
you know.
AirPods, man.
All right, awesome, Seneca. Okay, so if our listeners want to come check you out, your organization, where do we want to send them?
Yeah, you can go to KMIR.life. That's our website, KMIR.life. You can contact us there. You can hit us up on the email address. Email address would be hello@KMIR.life. Hello@KMIR.life. You can contact us there. And just reach out. You know, I'm really making a personal commitment whenever I speak or anything that I do is to sincerely reach out to people and say, if you have like a goal or a dream or anything that you want to do, small or big, I don't care. Reach out to me because either I know someone or I may know someone that knows someone that can at least get you to the next step of where you are. Or maybe it's just answering a question. And I want to really show up more with that this year, sincerely. And because I don't want to like play personal development, I want it to like actually like be a real thing. So again, whoever you are, wherever you are, no matter what you have going on, if you're in a jam and you don't really know like what the next step is, reach out to me. I promise I'll contact you back and try to connect you with someone that can get you to another level. So yeah.
Good stuff.
That's amazing.
Thank you, Seneca. We appreciate you. Love what you're doing, and congratulations on your upcoming album that you're creating, or all of that good stuff, and this new box subscription. And
Thank you.
Yeah, the future of KMIR is
Yeah,
you're
it's
going to be
got a lot
impacting a lot of
going on.
lives, and you're going to be continuing to step into that, as you said, like alignment of who you are and what you want to do
yes,
versus what you think you have to do. We talked a little bit about that, but
Yeah.
it's been really wonderful having you today.
absolutely.
Cool.
All right, well, we do want to say to our listeners, of course, if you enjoy our show, go check us out on iTunes and Facebook, because we can't do this without you, and hit that subscribe button.
And we want to leave you with a few final thoughts. So the question isn't who is going to let me, it's who is going to stop me. And that's by Ayn Rand.
That's good, and I like Ayn Rand.
Ayn Rand.
Yeah, she's a fun author.
The author, Capitalism,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I've read much of her literature.
All right, and in order to live the extraordinary, you must start, and every start begins with a decision. You guys take care, be safe, and be kind to one another. We will see you next time.
Peace.